mic's not even.
Nancy, there is no sound right now.
Yeah.
It's not you. They were waiting.
Oh, yeah, I know there's no sound, but it's still coming through my computer and not my.
Okay, just wanted you to not give up on something in a lull.
All right, so we're all rolling here. So we'll call the planning board meeting to order today, May 12th, and we'll start with going over the minutes from our April meeting on the. Way we had submitted a few items later in the minutes. Let's hit those first. We have them. Line 142. Select board is concerned that statutory town board. Next line. So they, so it's decided. And then sort of further along that line into the next, interested members, replace residents interested in joining. So for here's the basic clarifying. Why would I want to do that? Fine, we'll start with a roll call. Are you set up, Nancy?
No, but I can hear you. I mean, enough.
Sorry, I'm able to give you a minute.
So I'll work on it while listening.
Okay. Bill, my start us off.
Bill Spence, member. Rob Wilson, member.
Wendy Ross, you remember?
John Rusi, member.
Alan Bertha, alternate.
Morning Dean, okay.
Mike Capel, member.
Nancy Knight, member.
Bill Larson,
Yeah, Bill Larson, alternate.
thank you. Thanks for catching that on. And welcome to Morgan. Yay.
Yay.
All right. So, continuing back with our minutes. Any comments? Corrections?
Are you working on the minutes?
Yes, minutes from our April 14 meeting. Did you have some comments?
Yes, I attended the meeting via Zoom, but I did not, I don't believe I was seated.
And Alan Burton. They just, it's in front of Bill after Alan's.
Right. Yeah, I think it's the seated at 8:10 is meant for Alan. Not you. I can put it. Does that make sense? Would it be clearer as in front of his name?
Okay,
I mean, everything's been followed.
Yeah, I don't even know. My computer actually works.
Yeah.
I printed it again.
Yeah, Bill, I heard that you had a few comments. And you can't, change the.
Okay.
Ready?
this is my page, correct? Line 143. They also reviewed I included master plan introduction.
Oh, I think we have different lines.
Oh, probably because of when I print the edits, it changes the line. Sorry.
What section?
Okay, it's under old business, master plan revision.
Okay.
And there's a line, second line down. They also reviewed the master plan introduction. And then, the next line, chapter 4 and 7, including the recommendations for the chapter 8 action plan. Richard also made a suggestion for the next heading, which was other business.
Yeah, I wrote that out.
So I think that's fine. And then under town core, second line. In addition, some existing trails will be built out. I think built out is hyphenated. And the goal is to execute a plan that directs people to other parts of the town. So I go to the word direct. Here in the edit.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? You have a motion for these minutes?
I move we accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Bill Spence, aye.
Rob Wilson, aye.
Wendy, I.
Rosine, aye. Oh, Mike Capella, aye.
Nancy,
Let's see, hang on. Nancy Knight, aye.
all right. So, why don't we go ahead and let's see. Bill for today. Are you good with that, Bill Larson?
What are you looking for?
Leaving you for today?
Okay,
That's the one time. So. All right, you wanna take over? I assume you want to start in chapter 4.
It's probably gonna make more sense for most of this morning for me to listen and ask questions and take notes, because I didn't compile, I did edit these chapters, but I didn't compile information for them. And I just wondered if you, so we don't forget it, if we could start with the request to, screen share it, the request to put the Native American acknowledgement in.
Oh, right.
And I think I can put that on the screen here. All right. This is what was suggested.
Oh, conservation.
And I don't know that it's something the Conservation Commission voted on. It was a Conservation Commission chair. And I don't have an opinion, but I offered to get it in front of you and see what you wanted to do. If you were going to use it, I think it makes sense, like, to stick it in the front, maybe between the title pages and page 1.
From what I understand, John, correct me if I'm incorrect, the New Hampshire State Conservation Commission has recommended doing this, is that correct? Or recognizing recognizing in different planning documents, the original inhabitants, is that correct? So it's sort of a state driven thing, not maybe not state government, but state conservation commission.
Yes, but I think it's also focused towards the town.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I can't back here on the, but I can't read whether that says the town of Waterloo Valley.
It does not.
Okay.
Well, I'll read it, let me read it to you, make it easier. We are located in,
So I said,
Wait, Tara, can you make it a little bit larger?
I'll get it. The only thing that the Conservation Commission agreed to was we acknowledge, yes, so that was okay, understanding that it was the planning board making that statement. The language that the Conservation Commission reviewed on Monday or Tuesday was, it said the town of Waterloo Valley. Before we adopt that statement as a community, the Conservation Commission is going to take that to the Board of Selectmen,
Okay.
and the Selectmen will probably take it to town and get a vote. Okay. So as long as you're not saying that the town of Waterloo Valley recognizes the way that that other statement, that's okay.
Okay,
From what the
From
Conservation
the-
Commission. said.
right. Are there any comments from board members on the statement?
I have a question, I guess, where it says, which is the traditional ancestral homeland of those three tribes, past and present. Is it their homeland today? Is that what that says?
No, it's not, well, in a sense it is, it's recognizing that they have been through this land.
No, I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. I guess my question is, we're saying it is there, and I'm not an English major, so it's just the way I'm reading it. It seems to me to say that it is their present homeland. That's what that sentence, I think, says. So I have no problem saying it was past, no problem saying all the stewardship they have done in the past. That's all true, and I've got a problem with it. I guess my problem is saying that it is a current homeland.
Should we leave?
I don't like the
past-
word and present.
Yeah, should we leave past and present out, so just the traditional ancestral homeland? of Africa?
I think that's better.
Well, it is their homeland. I mean, they have been here.
Yeah, but my problem is the word present. I mean, I don't, you know, there's all kinds of questions and everything else with regards to things like that legally. So I have a question about the word present. Are we saying it is their present homeland?
Would anyone have a problem of tabling this?
Obviously, of course not.
And let me get back to you with the chair on what the chair would like to. Oh, actually, the committee.
But let's finish the discussion so you have all the different points. So
Yeah.
the first point is perhaps removing past and present.
Yep.
Any other issues or points?
I don't think that this is planning board business. I don't think that this statement belongs in the master plan.
A forward-looking master plan.
Why,
Well,
why not?
The master plan has to do with town planning. This statement is I'd say personal preference. Somebody's idea of what is.
You see,
It's more political than it is planned.
Nancy,
I think it is appropriate, and I think it's the right thing to do.
I concur with Nancy, and I don't know why, I'm trying to wrap my head around why you think political.
Well, it's a matter of personal preference. That is,
It's-
you put this in the document and some people are going to be happy with it and some people will not be.
I think it's acknowledging a fact. I think it's just acknowledging that European settlers were not the first people on this land, and this is a land use document.
there's so much more information in here that we're trying to be, I don't see it as planning for business. I don't see it as an element that is important to the master plan of the town.
I think if we're talking about the land, I think we can't ignore that this really wasn't our land at first. You know, it belonged to other people and we came and took it. And I think it would be insane to ignore that fact. And I think it's the right thing to do to acknowledge it.
I agree. Nancy's point. Go on, you go, Rob. And of course, we have
I agree with everything you said, past and present gone, and it's confusing to Mike's point, and I agree that this is appropriate because it is, because land, and I say keep it. Suggest.
even though you guys are super like alternate thoughts on this.
I thought the same way as Bill. I'm not. Barry, so-
I agree that it's appropriate about land.
Mike, besides the past and present.
I do understand what Bill is saying, but it is, and I can understand that Bill is saying it is PC. It is PC, but I think it's an appropriate thing to say a little bit backward looking or about our past, as long as I think you're getting past and present, I think makes that sentence much better drafted.
Okay, so why don't we table, you can take that back to the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, if I could.
With that past and present removed.
Yeah.
See if there's agreement with that, and then overall, it seems like I understand the discussion involved, but like just that acknowledgement. We'll go from there for next meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Thank you for posting that, Tara.
So I'll put up chapter 4. It's a little bit hard to hear some of you. Nancy, I didn't know if you wanted to try to lead the discussion on chapter 4 because you compiled the information, or if Wendy should because she's in the meeting room.
I'm fine either way, Nancy, you're in more of an awkward position, so whatever you prefer.
I don't know. I went through it pretty carefully and put in the changes I was hoping to see, but it doesn't matter to me. Whatever is easier for you guys.
All right, why don't I lead it from here, and then if there are any questions, you can clarify, Nance.
Okay, I can try.
And if I don't hear, I'll speak up so that I get the changes right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to take a step back, I mean, the biggest difference from what I attempted to do, aside from Tara making it much easier to read, is that it's just recreation now and not recreation and culture, which I guess we just need to acknowledge we're okay with.
So the removal of culture, was that intentional? Is that your goal, Tara, for this, and then have culture more integrated elsewhere?
I didn't take out anything through the chapter to do with culture. Are you talking about the title, Nancy?
Oh, well,
I mean, I didn't take out, like, if we go down to,
is it culture?
I still have your cultural activities table here on page 31.
Oh, you do?
I didn't strip it of that. If you feel the title isn't accurate.
Well, I gotta be honest, I didn't really look at the tables. I just read the whole thing without.
Well,
looking.
I didn't take that out. I didn't make that change. Do you feel that, do people feel the title should say recreation and culture? I was trying to, I guess, the main reason I think this chapter should exist is to make the point that there's something special and different about Waterville Valley versus most communities. And that's why recreation has its own chapter, as opposed to just being the town recreation facility section of infrastructure. I think Nancy did a good job of showing that picture and the importance and how it's the foundation of the community. Even though this chapter includes the cultural organizations and amenities, I guess I would be concerned it might kind of water down that message a little to change the title.
Well, I guess my thinking is more that like it was so long and I kind of ran out of time. So like I think the Ray Center is the only cultural organization that gets a paragraph, like written paragraph. So we don't really cover it, but if we don't care, that's fine.
I mean, I'm fine with it saying recreation. I don't know if anyone on board has strong feeling otherwise.
Recreation.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Starting off on page 25.
25?
25.
What?
Oh, my.
26?
On my thing, 25 is blank.
26? Oh, I'm numbering off.
Well,
All right.
I'm just looking at the one that I got.
Yeah, 26, it starts on, that's not quite right. It should start on an odd page, but it does start on 26.
I just have weird numbering. All right, I'll note that I'm on the page. All right, page 26.
Well, if the PDF may be different than the Word doc, and I'm in the Word doc so I can edit as you go.
Sure.
I was gonna hold off until other people made their corrections.
Sure.
Anybody?
Alan?
In the second sentence, I would change the word for after activities to encompassing. Second sentence. And a lot of places in this chapter, there's many sentences that say and. I think we gotta look through that and put some commas on it.
Yeah, or as well as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, if you look like 3 sentences further down, there's one sentence that maybe 4 or 5 and.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah.
So it's this 4 we're changing to encompassing?
The third, yes. I have a. Yeah, sorry, anything else, Alan? I was looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down. Most recreational activities in town group from or rely upon public-private partnerships in some way. I'm not sure that's true.
I don't know, I don't think they are. When you look at the actual activities, the resort, the athletic center are not a real partnership. They're private activities,
Right.
private entities.
Yeah, I mean, the golf course.
The golf course, the tennis club. I mean,
Yes, I wasn't sure what that sentence.
It's one of the points I think the chapter is trying to make because of things like the ski area being on the national forest and they rely on permitting and water rights and The town owns the ice rink. There's, is Brooke there today?
No, I have contacted her. I don't know why she's not here.
Okay, because I know that she works closely with private organizations to offer the many of the activities that she does. So I wonder if, would you be better with it if it said many rather than most?
How about some?
Yeah, I think some, or, well, I mean, I guess by volume, the ski area is one of the larger ones, so volume of recreation. Maybe many, or a significant portion.
Yeah, but I mean, because you say, the ski area, obviously. You look at the number of people that use the athletic center. On almost any day or weekend is pretty significant. Same thing, with the membership at the golf club, although I don't play golf, I know what the membership is.
And the tubing, yeah,
And the tubing, and the outdoor tennis. I
yes,
mean,
maybe some.
Some, I think, gets you there without making any real commitment to a percentage.
Yeah.
Done.
I think many does the same thing and stronger.
Look, I don't know what the
Some
difference
to
is.
me is just too weak for work.
I'm not, again, I'm
I don't
not,
think some makes the point. I think many would make the point.
Good.
Can you live with many?
24, 71.
Fine.
just-
I live with many.
Your phone number, Jennifer? Myself? Yes. 603. 728.
Okay, anything else for page 26?
Your relationship spouse? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
when we say focus on activities and facilities that are consistent with the natural,
Where?
I'm on the second, door bullet arrow.
Yep.
I will let them know.
Our authority sound and maintain our low-key, quiet, friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, we can read that. What's your point?
You come down past the golf course on a weekday, early evening, afternoon, that is not quiet. I'm not complaining,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that the, good party atmosphere, I'm not knocking it, I'm saying there is a very clear party atmosphere there, which, and I don't know how,
Maybe just take out quietly with low key.
I like the low key, I think they should be low key, and it's clearly friendly. Other than our quiet hours,
So.
things aren't always quiet.
That might be, Nancy isn't paying attention right now, but
No,
that's
Nancy,
her wording. I don't know if she wants to respond to that. And I also don't know if you wanna make sure, there's so much ATV use in so many towns. There may be some advantages to using the word quiet here and there, but Nancy, are you good with taking quiet out of this second bullet?
I would say not really, because like compare us to Lincoln, for example. I mean, I really think it's a distinguishing factor versus, like they've got that huge strip, with the McDonald's and fast food and the motorcycles revving their engines and driving fast down that street. We have none of that. So I feel like, in comparison to other fairly close towns, we are low-key, quiet and friendly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So comparing it more town to resort town versus being on Rivers Rock Trail to being in the pool of the athletic club.
Yeah, I mean, like Biden says, compare us to the alternative. And I think it makes sense.
Any other thoughts on quiet versus not? I understand the point of keeping quiet.
Yeah, I mean, compared to other towns around here. I have a few other points about this page. if we're ready for that.
Okay.
So on the very second line where it says indoor and outdoor, I would just switch those just because our primary like focus is really outdoor. And then going all the way down to the bottom under the early years, the very first sentence, I would get rid of somewhere and just say the floor of the valley around 1845.
Sorry, where are you on that?
She already got it.
Yeah,
The next page.
somewhere it doesn't add to the sentence.
Nope. All right, and then at the very bottom where it says, as word spread around Boston and business improved, comma, a hotel was planned, I'd get rid of the passive voice and say, and business improved, comma, the Greeleys opened a hotel, period. Okay, that's it.
Any other comments on this page? Move on to page 27. Any comments here? Now, for the portions where Tara has questions about things being recorded or not, have you guys already worked through that?
Yeah, the questions, are you sure you're looking at the right draft? Wendy?
Maybe I'm not.
Because I didn't think we still had any of those questions in here,
Okay.
but
I guess
If-
probably the older
if I do, point them out, because those should all be resolved.
Don't see any in here.
Yeah, no, I must have the older.
It should say April 19th at the top, draft 419.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just have a couple of small things.
Okay.
In the second paragraph, third line down, where it says following hiking in the 1850s, comma, I would just change that to in the 1850s, comma, hiking, bridle paths, hiking, comma, bridle paths, comma, bowling, comma.
Yeah, someone else that had sent me a change in that. And I think whoever, I forget who we got comments from on the historic section, so some of that was reworded a
Okay,
couple times now, but you guys are the final say.
yeah, because it doesn't make sense following hiking. Because you're, yeah, because you've already said that back in 1845, which is before the 1850s, they've already been fishing, so it's not just hiking. So it doesn't make sense to say following hiking in the 1850s, people did
Yeah.
other stuff.
We're
It
good.
just doesn't make sense.
Except is that a quote?
Right,
No, it's not a quote.
okay. All right, and any issues with that?
Okay. Okay, and then it's, you know what, I gotta eliminate pictures. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can see. And then in the third paragraph down, first lines, that first sentence. So it reads, in the early years, Waterville Valley was primarily a summer destination resort, comma, which is okay. And then where it says, although some winter recreation could be found as well, it really should say with some winter recreation, period. Get rid of the comma.
Yeah, that comma doesn't go there. Right? That's-
Right, yeah, it doesn't need a comma anymore.
I think it does need the as well still.
Why?
Not well, if you don't, it's not for me to say, it's for you guys. It just seems like it's just hanging there.
Yeah, with some winter recreation as well. But fine.
Fine, I mean, okay, if that feels more comfortable to you, that's fine. That's all I had for this.
Did it-
page.
Did anybody else have anything on this page?
Anyone?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to 28.
Yeah. No.
I'm not sure if I'm looking at the wrong copy with this again, but with Wikipedia references, are those included here?
Yeah, they are down in the middle.
Is Wikipedia, I thought that was a not reliable source because anybody can go in and change that.
That is true, however, unfortunately, it has probably become the most commonly used reference as those of us that used to have Encyclopedia Britannica and things like that, which are pretty much gone compared to, I mean, Wikipedia, you're not wrong in what you say, but it is probably the most commonly used.
Is it actually referenced? I just, my daughter and her college things are like loud in my head where.
Well, no, I mean, if you were writing a college paper, you couldn't probably use Wikipedia. You'd need primary sources, but if this actually is information that was gotten from Wikipedia, then that's what we need to say.
Okay,
And the fact that it states it's true, a group led by Tom Corcoran opened Whiteville Valley for its first season, that is a fact.
right.
That's the source of the quote. I mean, you can't, right?
Accepted Wikipedia.
Okay.
It's something like blockchain. It's subject to so much.
I think if
Review
the
and
statement was controversial or questionable, then
Yeah.
you might have to find
Right,
another
two or
source.
three other
But
sources.
when it's something like that, that is a statement of what we know is
Right.
fact.
Well, it not even just that, but it is the source of the quote.
Okay. Yeah, no. Any other comments on that page?
I, my copy says well. Also in 1966, the same paragraph.
Sorry, where are we?
Mine says that group.
Should it be a group?
Are we still on this page 28?
Yes,
We are, which paragraph?
Same place we just worked.
There, okay, so first.
Also in 1966, the group, shouldn't it say a group? Do we know who the group is? Have we defined who the group is? Is it just a group?
All right, so of instead of the.
Yeah, technically you're correct.
Well, the paragraph in front of it tells you what group. It's the Waterville Company that Tom Cochran formed.
Okay, great, thank you.
It's not a group, it's the Waterville Company that Tom Cochran formed.
Okay. All right, move on to the next page.
I really like the table.
Little grammatical thing. The second, or above the 4.3, that last paragraph before 4.3, but still offers 4 seasons, so but still offering.
The paragraph above 4.3, I'm not finding that.
It has evolved to a partnership involving multiple private and public interests.
I don't think that's there
That's not there.
Okay, never mind.
anymore.
Okay. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
So the table came from Nancy and was updated by Brooke, so it should be pretty current. And you wouldn't normally include this level of detail in a master plan because it's gonna be, technically incorrect in 6 months, but again, this chapter is trying to make a point, and the point is the abundance of recreation opportunities here.
So in theory, we just go back through and correct it the next time. Because that was my concern, was those things going out of date, because it happens very quickly in some instances. Do we just keep an eye on it year to year, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not trying to be a menu, it's trying to make the point of what's, how much is going on. And I think you also see the public-private partnerships in here. And
Yeah, having Brooke update it like this was great, because yeah, it's really thorough now.
Is there really hunting in Waterville
What
Valley?
about a sentence that just says the following activities?
What, are you kidding? Have you never walked in the woods in hunting season?
I have, and I wear my yellow vest, my.
Yes, and you should, because there is hunting.
And Mike, you don't want to lose sight of the fact that we're also talking about the vast majority of the town that's national forest.
Right, Mark was just
Long
making a
ticket, so there was no hunting.
Mark was just making a point about having some sort of caveat sentence in there like that, but this is a snapshot perhaps of current activities. And while they do
An as of?
change, while they do change periodically, this gives an idea of the breadth of the recreation, something along that line.
If I put it as of.
Well, I wouldn't even put an as of, just, this is a snapshot as well, snapshot as of this writing, as of the updates,
Yeah.
and,
I mean, you can't say currently because that's when you read it.
That's all right. Well, we can work on the wording later.
that would be helpful. I think.
Are we past the tables?
I'm just, sorry, grabbing a cultural. So are we maintaining that the town square shopping is no longer not a cultural activity?
It's a cultural activity in my culture.
Can we add that?
I mean, year round.
Do you want to send me something, Wendy?
Yes.
and continuing along that line, does that also include restaurants?
Right, that's what I mean, like the town square in general.
I mean, you know, just gotta add Coyote to that.
So I'm just making a note here and on paper that Wendy will send language for the town square and the cultural table.
Yeah, and the number of restaurants actually somewhat growing.
How are it's hard for me to see restaurants as a cultural activity,
It's a recreational activity.
not really, not typically. Not,
Okay.
that would just be weird.
Okay.
I guess she's never seen Tina work for Linda Coyote.
You know,
All right, so why don't we
the
move-
coyote.
why
is
don't
a
we-
recreational activity.
why don't we move past the tables?
I don't think it's either.
So recreation providers would be next.
Yeah, 4.4. So starting with the White Mountain National Forest section, any comments in there?
Mm-mm.
Really, 98%, I get this.
All right. We move on.
There is an extra space between 98% and of that you might want to just kill, but as long as you're there.
He's alive.
Thanks.
Is the White Mountain National Forest owned by the Forest Service or the Department of the Interior?
Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture.
Owned by the United States government.
Ooh,
Not. It's run by the Department of Agriculture.
right,
That's right.
it is not, it's not
Owned
run,
by us.
yeah.
Are we changing this then?
Well, my comment was, and Mark's right, it is not owned by the Forest Service.
How about part of? Part of?
Administered by.
Well, that's what the section,
How's this? Is managed by the U.S. Forest Service as part of the White Mountain National Forest.
that's fine.
Right? Moving on.
Are 40,000 acres still used for tree harvesting?
Yeah,
All of it is subject to-
I know it's subject to, but, well, I guess that it's subject to theoretically used for. I just didn't know it's still.
not in the part that's wilderness, but the rest periodically will be.
Okay, should we move on? The next. Where we're at.
Are we moving on to the resort?
Are we good? Point?
Okay. I
I'm here
I
now.
have a couple of small things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines down from the top, where it starts Livermore Road and Greeley Pond Trail is the source of many trails.
Wait a minute, I'm not, I went on to the resort, so
I'm on page 34 at the very top.
I haven't moved there yet.
Oh, sorry. Are you still on 33?
I'm with you now.
Okay. So page 34 at the very top, 1, 2, 3, the fifth line down where it starts Livermore Road and Greeley Pond Trail. And it says, is the source of many trails. Do we mean to say are the sources of many trails?
Yeah, correct. It's a
Grammatically
plural
correct.
subject.
Yeah,
Okay.
grammatically correct.
That's all I have for this page.
Actually, a couple lines above that, easy walk along the Big Plains Trail. Maybe I'm a wuss.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
That's not easy.
Maybe I'm a wuss, but I'm not sure that easy.
I would say that's true. What's this, take me just a word up,
Yeah, just a walk along.
it's a walk.
It's short, it's just a little steep,
Could you say moderate walk?
or just a walk,
I would just say, you know, the definition of what's easy, what's moderate.
yeah.
How about saying easier?
Or
'Cause
if we're look-
It is
Well,
easier.
if we're looking to
But
compare-
that's true.
If we're looking to compare easy to hard, easy would be like the village trail here. You know,
Or even Mad River Trail.
yeah. So I guess it depends on what the point was, we're trying to show the breadth of easier to challenging, or was it those specific trails that we wanted to call out?
Yeah, I think it's good with the way you have it, just to walk.
Okay,
Let somebody else decide. And the Mad River Trail is a part of tax territory.
yeah.
On that Mad River path.
Okay, well, anyway, so we're good with that. Okay, anything else before Waterville Valley Resort? Okay. So, onto that section. Any thoughts through there?
Here's your Wikipedia problem. We don't have two high-speed flights. In the first paragraph.
Okay,
Under more.
should we just shorten that? Because, yeah, the lifts are shifting.
I would just eliminate that sentence.
Yeah, offering a vertical drop of 25 feet, just end it there.
Yeah.
Everyone okay with that?
Yeah, that makes it easier.
Yeah, and actually the vertical drop is if you're using because, you know, the resort promotes the fact that it's a 4,000 foot mountain. That's correct. It's that we really only skied at 3,800 some odd feet. The vertical drop, which again is misleading by the resort forever, is that it's not truly 2,020 feet, but I'm fine with leaving it.
Since Wikipedia says it. Okay.
To that
But
point,
they claim a different height, and that's the vertical that they claim. That's what I'm just saying.
You know, that's true, but the other thing that we, Waterville, claim is the number of 4,000 footers that we have.
And Tecumseh proper is, you just don't ski from 4,000 feet.
Except this says, they're gonna build on Mount Tecumseh with a summit elevation of,
For skiing.
that's not
See,
what
that's
it's,
for the skiing.
no, that's not what it says.
you know,
I
we
don't-
don't see constant. The peak to the right.
Yeah, Tecumseh's been downgraded.
I know, but we haven't said so. Valley.
Anyway,
Yeah, but Wikipedia is updated.
I know, Nancy. I was talking about what we, not we, but the valley claims to be surrounded by 4,000 footers.
Right, but I think we're okay with our, right?
Okay.
We got
Go with it.
quads.
In the next paragraph, we want to put something about the adaptive ski program. Just put special.
Or specific interests and needs.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, the next paragraph, third line in a specialty clinics for people with specific interests and needs. So,
Okay, we talk about that program somewhere else that I can't remember right now, but we can do that. The adaptive ski program it has its own section somewhere.
Okay, read that.
Yeah, the resort doesn't run the adaptive program, so that's why it's not there.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the resort. They just allow them to use space there.
Okay,
I mean, and they obviously cooperate fully and give them the stuff.
Right, but this is supposed to be about the resort, so
okay.
as a recreation provider.
So anything else on page 34?
I don't know if we want to talk about it or where it would be appropriate to talk about the School on the Mountain program.
I'm not sure that,
I don't know if it is or isn't, or where it would be appropriate, or if it's appropriate.
I think if anything, it'd be in what we're talking about the school, not.
Okay, I'm just saying it is well, it was initiated here and it's become appropriate, much more of a natural.
But
program. That's okay.
This section is about the resort as a recreation provider, what recreation programs they have.
Okay,
Is JETS an initialism? Like, do we need to define what it is? Do we know what it is?
That isn't defined, the resorts initiated. Sorry, what are you saying?
So I have a different copy, so mine's the other page 3. The resort also initiated and supports program JETS for children. So JETS is an initialism, it stands for something.
I see that.
Okay, I'll add that in. So I have no idea.
So my copy says 33.
30.
Yeah.
34.
Okay. So we'll move on to page 35.
Oh, junior enrichment through sports.
Oh, thank you. So anything on 35?
Yeah. Let's see. Well,
I know it was covered later, but do you want to include hockey in the last paragraph?
I had a note about that too. Next, it says during the winter season, it is a key business that brings about overnight day guests. It's really not anymore.
Where are you?
The final paragraph on page 35.
35.
That it's not the key business that brings in overnight and day guests?
No, hockey is.
Ah,
Hockey is, for better or for worse.
It is.
So maybe I wouldn't get rid of the sentence, but maybe change it.
Yeah. Maybe it is one of the key businesses.
Or you could say this and hockey are the key business.
Well, we're not talking about hockey here. We're talking about the resort here. So I think one of the key businesses that brings in work.
I think it's the key business that brings in day guests in the winter. I don't think that's an argument. I think it's not the key business that brings in overnight guests. It brings in seasonal guests because people rent condos for the season or they come in for the day.
Okay.
So why don't we say that?
Say what?
The
Sorry.
key business that brings in seasonal and day guests. That's true.
Yeah. So get rid of both overnight. And
Yeah, just,
Oh,
yeah, just replace overnight with seasonal.
okay. Okay, you had other things?
I don't know if we are able to do it this time, but you know, it would be really, I think, useful to have as a record for the town is a table that just had the Waterville Valley Ski Area ownership history. Because I don't want to lose that knowledge, and as time goes on, like there's going to be fewer and fewer people here that were here when, you know, it was owned by other people. And, you know, I think encapsulating that in a nice tight table on the side is the kind of thing that would be useful.
The timeline type of thing?
Yeah,
Is that something that you help create, Nancy, or Tara, is that something that you know a way to do?
So if it'd be easy to put it in as an inset if somebody sent me the data.
I can look for it.
I mean, it's here through the narrative in various places, but
Yeah, but we don't actually have the full information. We kind of gloss over between Corcoran and now.
all right, so I've made a note, you'll send me that.
Okay.
I think the data is in the most recently published Waterville Valley Trail book.
I think it is,
I remember seeing it there.
So moving on to page 36.
like the picture.
For ease of keeping this updated,
Yeah.
is there a better way to summarize the summer camp?
Yeah.
Because this particular Cascades camp just came into existence
Exactly.
last summer or the summer before. They've had summer camps for skateboard parks, for mountain biking. I think a more generic rather than highlight specific camp.
I agree.
Just saying that they have summer camp programs for many different purposes or interests or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's true across like the tennis center, you know, others. So
Yeah.
I think this is
Mark,
about-
this one is specific. We're still in the resort here. We're
Yes.
still in the Waterville Valley Resort section here.
I corrected myself. But the resort has many different summer camps and has had historically many different types of summer camps. And I think just making that statement more generic,
Yeah.
rather than tied specifically to the Cascades camp.
Do they have more right now?
Well, no, but that's my point, is the Cascades camp came into existence in a week period 2 summers ago And if they don't get enough kids, it can go out of existence just as quickly. So I think if you look at the history, because there's a lot of history in this section that I'm talking about, they have had summer camps as a regular part of the year.
So can somebody send me a revision to this section that puts it in that context, but is still in the context of the resort?
Yes,
Is there a place in here where all of the various summer camps that are offered is included? Because there's a myriad of summer camps.
Well, but we just spoke, I think
we're
you're just trying to
just
focus on
focusing
the
on the
resort
resort.
here.
Who's gonna send, I wanna leave the meeting with clear notes of who's doing what. Who's gonna send me the revision that puts this in the context?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Because, yeah, to your point, Mark, like the skateboard park section, there's no longer skateboard camps that run on all of them. So there's a number of things that need to be revised, so, I'll do that. Okay, anything else? Correct the cascades. And within that, make that correct for the skateboard park camps on the page.
But I have a question about the skateboard park camp. I don't think the dating of it is accurate. If you walk by, when I rode my bike classes yesterday, both coming and going, there were kids skateboarding.
There are kids skateboarding, but it's not a camp. Or maybe
This
a
doesn't,
point.
if I'm,
Oh,
I
Memorial
understand.
Day, I see.
All I'm saying is that it is not, it's available unless there's snow.
Okay.
And obviously, I don't do it, but.
But it's the same. Making it more.
Yeah.
It exists.
So let's just say it's located.
Yeah, just strike that it currently operates time period.
We say it is located in the parking lot across from,
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess over there, we just strike the skateboard camp right all summer long.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, and then, as long as you're there, you can strike the skateboard camps run all summer long sentence.
Who owns that parking area on the resort or the town?
The resort.
I'm gonna change this a little bit. So we say, it is located, because now it looks disjointed. It is located across from the Black Bear Lodge on land designated for parking. Yeah,
Yeah, that's better.
is this okay?
Yeah.
Is this still true that they're coming before you? I haven't ever seen them come before the board to renew permission.
We stopped that a number of years ago, so they don't do it anymore. What was it, 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah, it's a while.
Yes.
So what should this say?
I don't think that paragraph is
How has-
necessary.
Yeah. Can you refresh your memory, Mark, how that was left? That it was a special exception? No, it was not special, was it a special?
I would have to look at what.
I thought it was neat. I thought they said you could do it until they didn't stop. So
we need, what we're trying to do here is provide a background for the recommendation that will come later, that a different location is needed. But we could just take that sentence out if you want and say, it's okay to cross some back lodge on land designated for parking. In the future, relocation may be necessary, period.
Okay,
Yeah, that's good.
that's better.
We just need something that explains why we're recommending a different location.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the adventure center.
Are all of the 70 kilometers approved for fat biking? I didn't think they were. I thought only certain trails were designated for fat bike trails.
I'm not sure.
I can ask Ian, I've got to talk to him about some stuff.
I'm not sure that that sentence says that all 70 kilometers are groomed for all three things. You wouldn't snowshoe in ski tracks.
No, but they ski on the trails. They ski on the groomed trail.
Right, but you don't go snowshoe in the ski tracks. So I don't think this sentence says that.
How about for use for use by cross country skiing?
Okay,
Sorry, what we're adding for use by that?
I don't know, I just trying to think of some way to make it sound more that they could, but don't necessarily do it all.
Yeah, no, I think this says it now that,
Okay.
I mean, nobody's gonna think you snowshoe in a ski track. And so some of the people that use my field.
they
You're not-
do,
You're not supposed to snowshoe on all trails.
right.
Yeah,
You're not
Right,
supposed-
that's my point. They're for three different,
Designated ones.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're only
I think
designated
the
trails
sentence is
for
fine,
snowshoeing into a fat
but it
bike.
wouldn't need to get too granular, I don't think.
Yeah.
well, that's what I mean, that's what I think anybody reading this would say, that you don't do all of those on the same trail.
Well, actually, if you read the next paragraph, I took it directly from their documentation, so you can see what they say. If we go to the next page.
Right. Yeah, true. And it says it's shown on the map on the following page. So I think, I don't know.
So we explain it on the next paragraph. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Just read the whole thing.
Okay. Anything for the biking paragraph?
Can I just confirm one thing?
Yeah.
Nancy, you said you took it from the website, right? On the first paragraph of page 39, the last sentence about dogs, that is actually on the waterville.com website.
It must have been, I mean, this also was last year.
Yeah, I just know that the comments that are made about dogs are, go back and forth a lot, and I just didn't want anything to be in here that people would be pointing to that, would it be safer to just take that sentence out and we have to mention it?
Yeah, it might be safer, so it has been.
It's just been controversial in the past, and
The draft that I got said dogs are only allowed on the village trail, but when I looked at waterville.com website, it listed several. So, I think it's fine without it too. As a dog owner, it would interest me, but this isn't a marketing brochure, it's a plan.
Or,
Oh,
I just think it changes,
yeah,
and they may want to not have a village trail. I don't know, trying to keep it updated with correct current information.
So I took that out, and so I'm not sure if I was supposed to take the citation. I'll need to go check that later. But this also is where we say specifically that snowshoeing and fat biking and right says more about those.
great. Okay.
Okay.
So moving back on to biking.
Well, yeah, I got the information on what's available at the Adventure Center from waterville.com. So I think it's still valid. I don't think you need to question it.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't know about race coaching at the Adventure Center without waterville.com. So
That-
it's,
that
I think
also-
it's still valid.
No, that is true.
Bill, I'll ask you, where it's app Strava, so that's the app that generates, the, like the routes that they can go. Is that in quotations or?
The name of the app.
Okay. I knew you'd know.
Okay, very good with page 39 then.
There's the comma after permit in the second section, the second sentence.
Oh, that is definitely accurate, especially using permit.
Wait a minute, I gotta catch back up to where you,
Second sentence under biking.
yep. Were you just pointing out the space,
Yeah,
or was it something else?
nope, that was it.
I have a content question. We have defined village as the 471 private and municipally owned acres. Is that what we mean, or do we mean the village core?
Where?
When we say village, third line down under biking, last word in the sentence?
I don't think it's just in the village core.
Okay, I mean, that, I just wanted to be sure we,
If you look, I mean, if you look at the map, it's not just the village core.
okay, so we're talking about like the whole 471 acres.
Right, and I did go through with a number of searches to correct all that terminology.
Okay. All right, I mean, I kind of thought it was right also. I just wanted to double check that I wasn't wrong.
Sorry, Mark. Sure. Okay. You're good with 39? Up on 40. 41. And 42. Perfect. So, it's not.
Actually, for 41, I think it should have a title because it doesn't really, I mean, I guess why, I can kind of understand why we're showing the biking trail map, but yeah, I think we should have a title for the Strava map. I mean,
Yeah,
is the point showing where the most used trails? Is that the,
I've noted that. I'll add a title and an explanation on the map.
okay,
So the recreation department, but Brooke has gone through this, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's got her changes,
oh, good.
which I don't think there were many. I mean, she just answered Nancy's questions about what's been changed because of the increase in student population.
Oh, you got this from them. Okay, because there are some dog-friendly trails that aren't marked, but I don't.
But it seems that we're not talking about dogs
No,
anymore.
no, I'm looking at the map, but since you got the map from them, then that's fine, I guess.
so anything else in the water, 42 for that? For the park department? Oh,
In the second paragraph, sentence after COVID-19. For one is I'd eliminate the two alsos, but more importantly, supervises the on-field activity.
Sorry, where? So,
Almost the end of the recreation department, I would eliminate also, maintains practice field and supervises the on-field activities.
I don't seem to be looking at the right place here, sorry.
so second paragraph under.
I have I have an older version.
It's the third paragraph now.
Okay. Oh, I see. The recreation department also maintains practice field, supervises the field activities.
I put on-field activity.
Okay,
Field doesn't have activity.
okay.
Maybe it does. And I'd eliminate the two also. Makes it harder to read.
Is Mike's dream, since it's now.
Two also. Can we, I can't keep up, sorry. On-field activities, we're saying,
Yeah, unfield activities.
and I don't see two alsos.
No, they've been taken out. He was looking.
I have
at
an
the
older
other-
version.
Well, okay. We're good then.
What's the difference between field activities and on-field activities? I don't even know what the word on-field means.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't think it makes any sense.
This, this was from you and then reviewed by Brooke.
Okay.
Yeah, on-field is, I'm not sure it's a word.
I'm not.
I mean, I think the point was that it's activities played on the field, not. as opposed to-
Field doesn't have activity, does it?
Well, yes, kind of like track and field. They don't use on-field.
Okay.
I mean, either way. it's whatever.
I think what he meant is whatever's going on the field.
Yes,
It's
commonly
being
used
supervised.
terms.
Either way.
We could say that. I don't know. Activities using the field. If we're trying to, I don't know, we're trying to say they, we're trying to say they maintain the field and oversee what happens on it. They maintain the adjacent playground and they operate the beach and boat rentals. We're trying
how can
to
it-
say those three things.
I don't understand how it could be confusing because you've just said maintains Packard's field and supervises the field activities. That I don't think there's any room for misperception.
That's fine, let it go.
Anything else on page 42? Okay, moving to 43.
So I had some stuff in the hockey stuff, and these are kind of cleaning up input that I gave. I have on the third paragraph,
Are you under the ice arena?
yes. Are we on to the ice rink?
Yeah.
And we go down, the second sentence, on average, each hockey team, not, each hockey tournament, not the hockey tournaments, bring in 20 teams with 15 players, 2 coaches, and 3 family members per player per team.
3 additional.
Yeah, additional.
I thought additional made more sense.
Yeah, it's usually 1 parent and, it's 2 to 4
Kids.
little kids that are following their hockey brother and sister along. And then I put equaling, I'd spell out 8,000 to 10,000 visitors to Waterville Valley per year. I don't know if that sentence is too verbose, it's trying to get a lot of input. On the next sentence, each player's and coach's family is required to reserve their rooms through central booking at Waterville Valley's at Waterville Valley's lodges.
That,
They're required.
That is true.
is they required to do it
They
through
have to
central
be-
booking?
Yeah.
They can't just call.
They have to ask for an exception from, the tournament director or whatnot, if they're not staying in the valley in one of the approved hotels. Now, obviously try to force everything into the logic here, although there's a lot of spillover into Plymouth, Campton Days Inn, just because we never, have enough rooms.
So that's why I asked the question, it's required to reserve. I didn't know they had to do it through central booking.
It's not policed, but, as part of the agreement that the team manager, team coaches put in,
Oh,
they
okay.
indicate that they're required to do that. And the only other thing in the next paragraph.
Well, can you just check that I got that sentence right first, Rob? Each players and coaches family is required to reserve their rooms through central booking at Waterville Valley's lodges. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the next paragraph at the end, hockey tournaments, last sentence, hockey tournaments. The benefit of the estimated total economic benefit of the rink through hockey tournaments is approximately 10 million US dollars. And we actually calculated that out at, one point, like we took the averages and then the average room cost, so on and so forth, how many meals. I mean, it's approximate, but it's somewhere between $9 and $11 million of economic.
I think maybe let's take out US dollars. If we say $10 million, we know we mean US.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can you put in parentheses how, like, our sourcing? So if is that an estimate from you or from the organization?
Yeah, the organization, so,
Okay.
yeah, so we could say, THA, analytical study, 2019. Or economic analysis.
We could just also say, I think we could say THA 2019.
Okay.
Fine.
Mark,
If you do the math in this paragraph, it comes out to 30,000 people. Why are we saying
Yeah.
8 to 10?
yeah,
I thought it was more.
20 tournaments
20 tournaments.
times 20 teams.
Yep.
Times 75 people equals 30,000. Yes.
It would be 40 terms. Well, no, it'd be, oh, never mind.
No, it's 15 players with 5 extra people. That's 75.
There's 3 extra people.
It would be like if you took the players and the coaches, so you're gonna have 17, and then you'd average those to be 3 people per.
Got it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's actually.
17 total people times the 20 teams times 20.
What?
That's.
Yeah, it would be 17, and maybe we need to, times 3, times 20 average teams, times 20 tournaments.
But each player, I'm not remember that.
About 20,000.
Yeah. It's somewhere between 20 and 30,000, but anyway, that's okay.
Yeah, it's more bodies than 8 to 10.
So am I changing that?
we're gonna let it go the way it is.
No, I mean,
I'd
like,
say 20 to 30,000.
that could have been a math thing when I was looking at that. Put it
20,
together.
I would put 20 to 30.
I would say 20 to 30 is what I got to.
Makes it.
I mean, definitely the assumption numbers are pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just must have screwed up.
No, it's not a problem.
Thanks for catching on.
Okay, so 20 to 30,000.
They're more niggers on than there are. Get more people. I'd say that
All right. Okay, so we good? with that? Sorry, you had all that discussion on the numbers.
I hope so.
I'm surprised. It's only 10.
All right. So page 44.
Now, I apologize. The last sentence, estimated economic benefit of the rink.
So we're back to 43.
Yeah, I'm just, the last sentence is the benefit for the valley total is only $10 million.
That was what the study said.
Okay, I'm just surprised.
Okay, so 44. Any comments on here? Okay. Page 45.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
refers to water.
page 44, where are you?
Under Corcoran's Pond.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, was there a change here?
Yes, the second paragraph on page 44, it says the Waterville Valley Athletic Improvement Association with the support of the Waterville Company and the Curious George Cottage, Corcoran Pond.
Oh,
That does not happen. That's
No
the
longer
town, it's the town of Waterville Valley that stopped Corcoran Pond.
Does the water company still exist?
so then at the very top.
So this is all coming out and it will say the town stocks.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Is it Corcoran Pond or Corcoran's?
Corcoran.
Corcoran. No,
The Curious George Cottage does not run fishing programs. It would be the Margaret H. A. Race Center or the Race Center rather than the Curious George
Yeah.
Cottage.
So sorry,
am I changing? I can't hear you well, Mark. Am I changing Curious George Cottage to Ray Center?
Correct.
Yes.
Can you remind me, is it REY?
REY, yes.
Tara, can you scroll back up to the heading?
This, all the way, this is the town's programs. Do you mean that all the way up?
No, it says Corcoran Pond on my copy, which is old. It says Corcoran's. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's
Yeah, everybody should have the 419 draft.
Mine says 112, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's
That's had a lot of changes since that one. Sorry.
fine.
All right, so.
Well, I can put you another one.
Yeah,
They keep changing.
Yeah, that's why I just.
It's supposed to change. You would like it to be different after today.
We should make sure Morgan's on the email list that went out when you sent out the new one.
Yeah, I kind of, rely on the town to fill in those gaps, but
Yeah.
all right, so,
nobody had informed me.
sorry, well, I was working on the earlier one too, just because I thought I got the chapter and I was. So we're getting there. Page 45.
Oops.
No, I'll go on 45. Yeah.
I'm gonna change into to with more.
Where are we?
At the top of 45, sorry, which one?
Extended their programming outside the winter season into more or with more?
You there? Okay, and with,
It doesn't matter.
with instead of into?
Are we making a change here in the first sentence?
And make into and to with. Or 46. Anything?
Is snow sports one word or two?
That's, I've seen both.
Yeah. I guess as long as we're consistent, it doesn't matter.
I think either one is acceptable.
Well, and that first line under WBEAI, why do we have a space?
I think it's formatting the picture.
Okay.
Where,
No, nothing, we're good.
yeah, that's because I have this, you know, it's when you are done with edits, we'll go through the whole document and do things like get rid of extra spaces and clean up formatting. That's not a good use of time when it's still a draft.
Yeah,
But I will shorten the space under that picture at that time, you know, that kind of thing. But it just, again, makes no sense to spend that kind of time now.
Then page 47.
You know, you guys you haven't got any public input on this yet. So you really want to look at it as a working draft still.
Tara, did you review this with the Ray Center information with the executive director of the Ray Center?
Sorry, I can't remember who reviewed what by now.
Okay, so I just, in looking at this again, it does not mention the preschool program or the summer camp program that's specific to the Ray Center. I'm gonna just show this one more time to Leah Elliott, and I'll have her get in touch with you, Tara, if she wants to make any changes.
Okay, I'll make a note to that. I probably didn't. I probably just used because I wasn't tasked with collecting this information.
No, we should have her review it.
Yeah, good point.
I'm not sure that I would put, I don't know. I'm not sure a preschool isn't a recreation activity.
Well, okay, well, I'll talk to her about it. We'll see how we.
Yeah, because I mean, this is talking about the Ray Center as a recreation, as a nonprofit recreation provider.
Well, there are other programs that are listed in here that are not done anymore. So I want to have her review.
Yep. Okay, I'll make a note of that.
And if the board wants to do something more towards the school side, I do think that preschool is something that should be mentioned because the school is using it as a
Sure.
part of it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't hear that, but I just have a note, Mark, that you'll run the Ray Center part by the director.
Yeah, the one thing I might do is on page 47, the first non-italicized paragraph, first sentence, where it says the cottage in quotations. I don't know why it's in quotations. I would take those out.
Move on to page 48. I just had a minor thing, final paragraph on that page. Visitors to Waterville Valley staying at WVRA member hotels.
But-
Staying at local WVRA member hotels are offered their.
What is it?
What are you talking about?
So,
I'm sorry.
if a local hotel is not a member of the resort association, their guests don't automatically get the Freedom Pass, but it's through the Freedom Pass, their guests can use the athletic club. So, just to be correct, it's not all local hotels, even though it is right now, but 2 years ago, like Snowy Owl wasn't a member, so their guests can get access to the athletic club. So if we specify local WVRA member hotels,
Oh, okay.
I can't remember if we've already talked about WVRA. I don't think we have. So it's-
Yeah, but you might, you know, you don't want to have to search around that much, so.
so Waterville Valley Resort Association.
Let's put it here.
Yeah.
Can we give me a second to finish making this change? Bring on to another. All right, I think I got it. All right,
It's WVRA Resort Association.
and that's why I want to get one right before we go on to another. Okay. Next,
Yeah, we're on that page.
Membership, and
Okay. Where are you?
The very first sentence, that's the public mental health, which is.
Where-
What? I'm
where are
sorry.
we? Sorry, where are we?
Hang on, I think you might have.
No, it still says the public, on page 48,
Oh, I see.
first sentence of the Waterville Valley Golf Club.
The-
It is a membership, there is a membership portion to the club.
Significant membership.
I don't know how you word that.
Maybe take out.
Membership in public? No, because it's still, that's public too.
Right.
It's
but-
it's privately owned. It's not publicly owned. But doesn't public golf mean, does it mean publicly owned, or does it mean the public is welcome to pay money and play?
It would mean the public is welcome to pay money to play.
Well,
As
then,
To
It is.
members only.
Everybody who golfs goes by a course, and if it says public, you know what that means. That means you can go, you don't have to be a member. So it's.
Right.
I think all you need to do, you know, to the point is, the public and membership 9-hole golf course, and then we're covered. What do you think?
Okay,
Okay.
that is, yeah. Last year, there was no public allowed, I remember.
No public allowed.
Because of the pandemic.
Well, there's no public lot on weekends, and I'll ask Craig. What is the last sentence supposed to, or maybe other than being informational, supposed to mean?
Last sentence for the golf course?
Yeah, the golf course is the largest open space remaining within the valley, which is true. I'm just curious what it is supposed to imply, if anything.
Well, it reflects the land use, right?
It-
Yeah,
I think that actually might have come from the golf course information, but
I'm not disputing,
or the previous plan. It might be from the leftover from the previous plan. I didn't add it. And I think it would be fine to not have it.
because I'm, the only thing I'm questioning, it is true, is that, I think it's absolutely true. The question is, does that say anything other than the fact that it exists?
I don't think so, Mike. I would be on the side of taking it out.
Again, I'm not an English
Mark,
major.
Mark has a point to add to that.
Tara, I think the issue with the town the way it is now, the golf course represents the largest single ownership amount of land that we have. It's not that it's open space. It's that if you look at the Tyrell property, they may have more acreage, but it's not contiguous. The golf course is our largest privately owned parcel in the valley right now, I believe. And I would think from a land use standpoint, that would be more important than the fact that it's open space. I don't know, Tara, what do you think? Is that?
I don't know. I would just take it out of this. Because that's not the point we're trying to make here. We talk about that in the open space chapter. This is just supposed to be about recreation providers.
Okay. All right.
I would take it out. I think it's just left from the last plan.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, actually.
Oh, that's good.
Take the last sentence out.
Tara, is it useful to add after that? The owner has expanded the restaurant/bar facilities to host private and public events, such as weddings, Kentucky Derby parties, et cetera, period.
Sorry, I gotta mute something here. Is it the meeting room or Bill?
It might be the fact I'm in a waiting room.
Okay, it's you. All right, I
Yeah.
won't mute you then. I wouldn't put that. I feel like we're trying to focus on recreation here, not commercial activities. And
Okay,
I did trim out some of the information that was in here about the private businesses because I don't want it to sound too much like an ad for them.
okay.
Is it part of the culture though?
It is now.
I mean,
Yeah, is it? I mean, is a restaurant, I don't know.
when they're hosting activities like the weddings and the Kentucky Derby and whatever other,
Well, lots of other things that go on, even when there's not something there.
they have a lot of music playing.
There- Yeah, even if there's not something like that there are plenty of people there enjoying being together, especially on Friday and Saturday evening.
Yeah, but that's not, yeah, okay. I'm gonna write down that, who's gonna send me another sentence for that section?
I can send you what I wrote and you can decide whether you want to change it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna write, Nancy will send a draft addition to the golf club paragraph.
Tara. Me. Okay.
I just do want to, I get that to you guys who live there, it's a part, we need to mention it and we need to balance that with not sounding like a commercial, that's all.
Yeah.
So we'll find that balance.
I did have one actual correction on the very first line at the very top. After round kids programs, it says and artist in residence, and it should say "an" without the D.
Where
The very top,
am I not at the top?
above Waterville Valley Foundation, you are not at the top. There you go. Get rid of the D before before artist in
Yeah, I
residence.
see now. Yeah.
Okay. That was the only actual correction. Thank you.
Going back, Martha, comment.
Yeah, just going back to the golf club, Tara, for a second. I think your point is valid, that there's also, the change in the use of the building has been moving it from a part of the recreational use of the golf course, like a true clubhouse, to a more commercial activity. And I agree with you, Tara, that maybe it goes somewhere else,
But it's true.
but the use of that building is changing it. And Craig has said a couple of times to the planning board that he actually plans on moving the clubhouse activity away from that building to his, potentially to his maintenance facility and that sort of thing. So I don't know where it belongs in the master plan, but I think that's a factor that somehow needs to be brought out. And I think Nancy talked about all the other uses. I think it is important to mention
I
that
agree,
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah, what we just need to avoid is providing so much detail on one business that another business in town can say, hey, you know, we host this at our restaurant. Why isn't it mentioned, when it's not, that's not the point of it. So we just want to be a little careful about that.
Yeah, I agree. It's the turn away from the recreational use of that building to a more commercial use. And how do you word
Okay, policy. Nancy, if you need any help with that wording, reach out. On page 49.
Well, can we talk about the athletic club for a sec? I didn't know that the membership levels were only offered to residents. I don't think that's true.
The property owner.
property?
Well, I don't think that's true. I think if people who live in Camden can buy certain levels of membership.
I don't think that's true, unless they're an employee.
I'll ask.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I heard one right.
I also agreed with you before.
I will ask, but I thought, for example, the friends of mine that live in Camden and Thornton, for example,
Okay.
maybe their membership is only good for tennis or whatever.
Will you check on that?
I have Millie, so
I'm not sure that, I hear what you're saying, and maybe some wording change is needed, but that's irrelevant to this paragraph. This paragraph is talking about recreation opportunities for Waterville Valley residents. This is the communities. We're not advertising the athletic club. We're talking about what recreation activities are available for Waterville residents.
Okay, good point.
Although I might say residents and property owners, because we were a property owner long before we were a resident and at the Black Bear, and it was kind of part of the program to buy into being a member of the athletic club as a property owner.
why can't we just say various levels of membership are available?
Yeah, we can.
I don't know. I mean, if we're trying to finalize it, I will check with Millie. I mean, Ray's coming to pick up Millie. I could ask
It's
her.
just that memberships available to Campton residents doesn't belong in your plan. That's just, we're not advertising the athletic club.
Okay.
Right,
We don't care about that.
yeah, I do think property owners is an important. thing.
Yeah, residents is the wrong word. Stakeholders, maybe.
We try to avoid saying stakeholders anywhere in the plan.
Okay. That's fine, I can live with that.
All right, so then. move
Is
on.
it? I'll check on the other one. I thought that people could come in during the week and pay a fee and use the club. They can't, I honestly don't know, because I've never done it.
They
Okay,
cannot.
Okay. That's good.
Okay. So 49.
And I think that you have to do the same thing on the last sentence. Club offers a variety of fitness programs throughout the year for property owners.
We could just say, we can just get rid of that. That's all right.
That's fine. It's just being consistent.
So the next page, page 49.
So like the Waterville Valley Resort Association, do we want to put in parentheses, WVRA there?
What would be we can,
Well, yeah, well, it's always referred to around town as WVRA, and everybody knows what you're talking about. So
I think that's a good idea. Some people don't know.
and then I'll go down to the paragraph or the diagram. Definition of ORSA and why would, we be looking at that?
Outdoor research. Yeah, I forget now. It's like outdoor research something from the US Bureau. I'll have to look it up.
yeah, because I'm not sure we can change, I can't edit that.
Mark.
The last sentence of the Waterville Valley Resort Association paragraph, they're a co-sponsor of the shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
Along with the resort in town, so. I just make it a co-sponsor.
Yeah.
Can you say major sponsor?
No. That's not-
Okay.
Back, so we're gonna add, Nancy will send me a maybe sentence that introduces this graph, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what that graph tells us.
Other than.
I understand that recreational activity shrunk from the preceding paragraph. But
Well, it's a chart of growth, right? So if it's above 0, then the growth is positive. You can see it's positive for both New Hampshire and the US from 2015 to 19. Then it sinks for the US and New Hampshire, but at a rate that's much higher for the US than New Hampshire.
I think we could just say as shown in the graph below, based on blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Barely made it in 2018. What am I missing? Where is the ORSA?
We're gonna add a sentence that explains that.
And did you, on the paragraph about Tara, did you change that?
Yeah. Co-sponsor.
Co-sponsor? I apologize, I didn't see that.
Tara, did you hear his question?
We made it co-sponsor.
Will we be able to update this chart when we get the information for 2022 that will show hopefully a huge increase?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lag time in this data, though.
Well, I understand, but I mean, this just kind of looks,
You're not gonna have 2022 anytime soon. You'll have it in probably 2024.
oh, okay.
All
Okay,
right, all right, so page 50.
That's my dad.
Well, I always like having something duplicated a lot. I don't think we had duplicated fields. The-
Sorry, I missed, I think I missed the beginning of this sentence conversation or,
Sorry, for the bullet points there on page 50,
yeah,
the second to last bullet
Yeah, parking lot.
a duplication of what's on the final bullet, I think. We have wide variety of shopping and dining experiences in the final bullet,
I see.
so let's get rid of that second.
So we'll just take that out, yeah.
Any other thoughts for page 50?
I guess my question is, and it's very informative table.
Because I
But
can't
is that
I can't go anywhere with this man.
anything to do with the number of people that do activities in Waterville Valley?
You have a sense of where you are in the process.
Yeah.
Oops.
I mean, it's a very informative table of what's going on around the United States. But I don't think it's necessarily true in Waterville Valley.
I think if you read the whole section, I think Nancy's point was that you're in a beneficial position because you can offer and build upon all five of the most popular activities.
Right, on the very next page, it kind of says that, on the top of 51, says Waterville Valley will offer some form of all five of these activities.
I mean, because the whole section is trying to make the point of that you need to support this whole complex web of recreation activities because it's your economic foundation and that you're in a beneficial position to be able to do that. So I mean, that's why she has it there. And I think she makes a good point that, you know, as you're trying to build on the shoulder seasons, that fishing, running, hiking, biking, these are all shoulder season activities.
Yeah, I see that point. You see that way?
Oh, no, I do understand. I just don't
Okay.
think that it represents what is currently going on.
No, it's not meant to, though. It's.
I understand, no, I understand the point.
Okay,
It'd be nice if we had some type of thing that says, and I don't know how you do it, what things are in the valley, but, okay.
But you have said that through, I mean, that's what this whole section is talking about as it goes on. You just have to read on to the next page.
Yeah, part of this document is to think about not just what's happening in the valley currently, but kind of what we need to think about for the next 10 years. And since we know that we're thinking about trying to be a 4-season resort and not just mostly a ski resort, thinking about what the rest of the country does for those other 3 seasons, I thought was important since recreation is kind of our top priority.
But I don't think we are predominantly a ski resort. I mean, when I looked at number of rental units, there's more rental in the summer now than there is in the winter. At least there was before all of this happened.
right, but this does.
But that, I understand why it's there. Like, I just would love to see what ours is, but I don't know if there's any way to do that.
There isn't. And I think that she has it in there to make this next point that you can build upon all 5 of these and really the trail system is of growing importance.
Right. Okay. So we're kind of leading into the next page anyway, jump on to 51. The only thing I have added, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down in that main paragraph. Because our trails range from backpacking or even wilderness hiking in the national forest to you say a paved loop around the village core.
Sorry, I was in the wrong place.
That's okay. So that paragraph there to the left of the picture.
Paved loop, yes? I got it. Yeah.
Oh, the 4 mile trail,
Yeah, just
roads,
to show
that
that.
a lot of people do.
Anything else on 51? 52?
So Nancy, I just took, I think, 1 or 2 columns out of this table so it didn't make people's brains explode. But I think it makes the point a little bit even better now. And Brooke gave me some changes to the shading and activities that are available and not.
Brooke gave you what? I'm sorry.
I don't remember what they were now, but she gave me some changes to this table.
Yeah, no, taking out the 2020 column is fine. I think that's a good idea.
I think maybe there were a couple things you didn't have bolded that she offers through the rec program, like boating or.
So this is,
What is amusement parks and water parks? Are those available in Waterville Valley?
No, that's why they're not, it's not bolded.
You gotta look at the description under the title there. To see what,
But I'm confused by the description.
yeah,
The description says that light gray is not applicable to Waterville Valley.
Right.
Yet there are, and that bold is an existing Waterville Valley activity. But hunting and trapping number 7 is both light gray and bold. So shouldn't they be exclusionary from each other?
Yeah, so that shouldn't be gray.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we should probably just choose a different color.
Well, I would say what I'm looking at is RVing is allowed in the campsites. But if you, the other things that are not highlighted, like the amusement park, water park,
That's my
is
question.
not available in Waterville Valley.
That was the
So-
one I could,
Shouldn't that be light gray?
that was my
Change
question.
your reference. I think we need to go through this again.
But we actually, in our documentation, allow water parks as a, it's allowable in Waterville Valley, so it's a possibility that we could have one in the future, right?
Where?
On rec land, say we decided golfing went out of style and everybody was into water parks. I mean, it's just a potential. But it's in our,
So when you say not applicable, you mean not allowed in Waterville Valley?
no, I mean, it's not like it's not possible. Like, we cannot have recreational flying because we have no place for an airfield.
You could have a helicopter.
Yes.
pad.
Well, you know what I mean.
You could have
It's really not, it's not reasonable. you know, or equestrian, like we don't allow true, like, you know, horse stables for, you know, people to have in their backyards, to have our own horses. So you can't really do that.
Equestrian is allowed in the White Mountain National Forest. And the fact is, they could allow a farm to be built in the forest because equestrian is part of the forest plan. So it could happen in Waterville Valley.
Oh, okay.
If it had 5 acres, you
I
could
mean,
do it.
well, regardless, if they, on the national forest land, if they met their requirements, regardless of what our zoning said, it could happen.
How important are the grays to this?
Well, that's what I'm confused about.
Maybe it's okay without the grays.
Use color.
Well, no, I mean, maybe it's okay without the shading and just say, just bold the ones that are there now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yes.
So that would be what's in New Hampshire, whether it's applicable here or not.
Well, I'll look at that with Nancy, but I think we could. I tried to simplify this some, but I think it needs to be simplified a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I also tried to gray out stuff that was declining. Like, I mean, equestrian, sure, maybe it's a potential, but also, you know, for the past 2 years of pre-COVID, it was stagnant to declining. So, you know, it's probably not something that we would want to invest in.
Let's just look at it and see if, I'll work with you, Nancy, to see if we can just simplify it and take some corners out.
Okay.
great. Okay.
I did have one change for the page at the very bottom paragraph. First sentence, winter sports will continue to be one of, I would add the word of, the main attractions in Waterville Valley.
Got it.
Thanks.
In that same paragraph, the growing hockey academy, we should capitalize hockey, really, and call it the hockey community.
Where is that?
Third line down.
Under, go down there. Because the hockey academy is an organization that's capitalized,
Yeah.
or it's the hockey community.
How about community? That probably works better there.
Then you have to change, if you want to do that, and I agree with it, you have to eliminate the word other after that. The community is not an organization.
Yeah, and hockey includes not just the tournaments that are privately run, but also now the Plymouth youth hockey. Not that we need to include that detail, but that's where community kind of works to cover all that.
I did well established, a baby hyphenated. I'm not sure about that. I'll look at that.
Anything else for page 52? All right, last page of chapter 53.
plan gone so long.
Look, the last paragraph is, private facilities, aging, need modernization, we include the White Mountain Athletic Club. I don't really see that as
I don't
aging.
either.
Yeah.
They've been a lot of work on it. I would agree with that.
I'm just taking the White Mountain Athletic Club out of this sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they've been so much. They've really updated the facility.
I guess you haven't played tennis indoors recently.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't they put lights in for you?
They did. And they added a heater that had broken. They put a new one in.
Yeah, I can see the insects and critters better now.
But thinking in the grand scope of what they've been updating there.
The pools, for example, and the weight rooms and stuff like that they've done.
The second paragraph, are we trying to be exhaustive with all of the listings for summer activities or not? Just because tennis and boating.
Well, tennis is pretty significant outdoors, and they've now expanded tennis holidays.
No, I
from-
know, I'm just
Yeah.
asking, if this is meant to be an exhaustive list or
Yeah.
not.
No, but it should have the highlights. If tennis is one,
Yeah. Do we feel strongly about voting, Mark, or? Yeah.
I don't think you'd go there for voting. Like, I think you're trying to talk about the things that are a draw.
All right, finish chapter 4.
No, I have one other one. The last sentence of the second paragraph. I would change it to popular sports activities nationally.
Where are you, man?
We're hanging, we're at a month.
Yeah, Tara got it.
So, if you're all
We do-
set, was there something else?
Go ahead, Tara.
My suggestion would be that you think about another date for the infrastructure chapter, but you try to hang in there a few more minutes so you can look at the recreation related part of the action plan while the chapter's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So, let's do the action plan, chapter 8.
Almost done, Wendy.
Whoops.
The action plan. The chart.
So we would start with row 10. And
The whole thing for you, John, so I don't know exactly where.
I gotta try to just make it bigger on the screen and we won't see the goals part, but we'll see.
Whatever action.
So what I think we want to talk about these recommendations and the responsible party and who should be bold as the lead. I just took a shot at those myself, I think.
So, starting with 10, continue to foster support public private, that one.
Yeah.
I think that looks. I think that looks good with the rec department as the lead for that. I think that one looks good.
More than you know what we're doing.
Sorry, I can't hear Mark.
I don't have it either.
Hang on a second, we're missing a
So-
copy.
You can go through this with them, just. But they're looking at over here, and then the organization for that.
Are we good? I didn't hear that.
No, that's okay, we're just getting everyone up to speed with the chart.
You guys want to share?
Just missing some copies. Okay, so number 10, I think looks good, everyone. Agree? All right. Number 11.
Any comments on 11 then? If 10 is, I heard 10 is good. How about 11?
Um, Yeah. I think 11 is good.
I specified the ones I saw that the town gives money to.
Yeah.
With select board as the lead is the ones that do the budget. And more.
All right, so 11 looks good. Number 12.
And so Brooke is the town's representative, I think, on the WVRA. Why I put her in bold.
Um, um, Yeah. Not bold.
I would, only because of its focus
Yeah.
on recreation trails. Yeah.
Looking at the town core working group.
Sorry,
For number 12, in the responsible parties, the town core working group.
which you are going to rename, right?
Are we?
Because you want to be consistent and call it the village core.
Sure.
You had all those conversations about what you want to call everything, so.
You're right. You're right. All right, anything else for 12? 13?
For complimentary, I'd say E, not an I.
There,
Yeah.
whoops. I'll just make it disappear. Yes? The Excel doesn't spell check for me.
Yeah.
So I need you to do it.
Yeah, the downside of Excel.
Right. With this, I mean, I just wanted to build it in Excel so that you will have it to track these things that over the years. We'll copy this stuff into the text of the document, and this will be the final chapter, and maybe even a couple tables on facing pages, one with the responsible parties and another with the goals, or the goals could be in an appendix, whatever you decide. I want to build it in Excel. A lot easier to edit a table in Excel too. The next one, if we're on to 14, I don't think I have anybody as a lead here.
My feeling is it would have to be the town and the select board.
Yeah.
So do we want to bold the town manager and select board?
Sure.
You want to change homes to residences? That might also include the lodges. Or
Yeah,
else
the condos. That's-
Anything else on 14? On 15?
This also needs a lead. Will that be town manager and select board?
All right. Yeah. Anything else for that one?
This is to keep that skate park on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Right?
So Mark, I think you changed 17 to recreation director as the lead, but I wasn't sure I agree because we're talking about who needs to support that position and fund it. And it would seem more like that would be the town manager and select board to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's circular if the department supports its, right? We don't need the department to support itself. We need the town to continue to recognize the importance of that department and role, so.
So Brooke's responsible for coming to the CIP committee every year to say, hey, this is what I need. And then we review that with Mark and whatever, and then, you know, make the recommendation of planning board. So I think like I think the recreation director does in fact have a responsibility in this. Maybe it's a different word, it's not support, but you know, because she puts together all the information, goes through all the numbers and everything. I mean, she's driving it.
So I would leave her in, I'd leave her in there, but not make her bold because she doesn't get to decide how much, she's not the ultimate decision for how much support, financial support the department gets. She can advocate for it, but it's different.
That's what the recommendation.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
And then the next one is her department actually providing the facilities and program.
Okay. Sounds good.
On this one, shouldn't the WBAIA be on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, the rec department is the lead.
Sorry, I can't hear that conversation.
Add WBIA,
WBAIA.
WBAIA.
Would the historical society be part of that too? Would there trouble?
That's a good point. We are doing historical walks this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so add historical society.
Who organizes and leads? Are they all bold or is the rec department the bold one?
The rec.
Yeah, I think rec is the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Well,
No, AIA.
being a member, I disagree, but we don't charge for our hike, but it's for members only. And the rec department does charge for this for anybody.
Are you saying what the AIA goal is as well?
I am. Was it wrong? I'm not. Because it's two
two different methodologies.
Yeah, I mean, if we go with that, then I hold the historical society too, because we run those and promote them and things like that.
I don't see why we couldn't just highlight all.
Yeah,
Okay, done.
Take on that responsibility.
Just, as people volunteer to be bolded, the purpose of the bold is that once a year, there'll be hopefully a group meeting of the different boards to say, okay, WVAIA or Historical Society, what have you done for me lately? And I guess I'm a little concerned about WVAIA being in here because we've kept the responsible party in this context to be town groups, town departments, town roles. We're not in a place to make recommendations for what a nonprofit should do.
Well, the same thing is true of the historical society.
yeah.
Well, that's why I only had rec department in here. I mean, I'm explaining why I only had rec department in here because you can't tell other people what to do in your plan.
No, but they are already doing it.
And a lot of people are doing a lot of things that are listed in the action plan, but this is the town government's action plan.
Okay.
And
So
we're-
I think it's okay to kind of have them in. If you think it's important to talk about them in here, to acknowledge they're doing it too, but
Maybe not bolded.
certainly not bolded. You can't say, hey, you were supposed to do this thing because you can't tell them what to do.
Take it out.
We could try.
I think, middle ground might be, I don't know. It's very inconsistent to put them here and not in the numerous other recommendations where people are doing recreation, aren't the town.
Maybe take them out after all.
Yeah, I'm a little troubled by, why would they be in here?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you want to ask their permission to put them here? So that's why I only had rec department.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Same as the next one, I know that, sure the resort is using social media, but that's not who this plan is outlining the next 5 or 10 years of actions for.
The rest of the town staff is involved in number 20. I would put town manager there beside rec department, but leave not bold, but just so we get the other departments.
You should always be told.
No.
And that's, Mark, that's gonna be later too, in infrastructure, right?
Right.
But this is just about recreation activities, but
Well, but the integrate, we do work with Brooke. The other departments are involved in the updating of the information technology as it relates to recreation. So that's all I want to try to capture.
okay. And so as a example of why I don't think we want to list private organizations, here's, we're talking about working cooperatively with the hockey academy, but we don't assign that to the hockey academy. We assign it to the town.
Right. Yeah, I think that's good.
If you're looking at the stocking and casting for Kirby, that's also the Waterville Valley Public Safety Department with the Recreation Department as the lead.
And then creating events that integrate. And the rec department would be the lead on that. I'm not sure that events are in the town core working group purview, so. Take that out. Good, right?
Yeah, we're putting town, I would put select board and town meeting there as well because of the funding aspect of it.
Are we on 25?
24.
24. Obviously, rec department. forward.
Okay, sorry, we're on 24 and who am I adding? Sorry.
The town meeting and
Select board
Select board.
and town meeting. Yeah, no.
next one, the pond loop. I think, core group is on that, right?
I think it might be. Hold on. I think we gotta find how to get. No, all right. Select board was hidden. Who's the lead on this?
The town core working group.
Call from 60370808182.
Sorry, is the town core working group the lead on this?
The trail around the pond, yeah. Pond loop. And next one.
I the town board working in this. And I would make that
Yeah.
not the select board.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that, Tara, but let's add the town core working group and switch that group to being the lead.
Are we on 26?
Yeah,
And I'm making town core working group the lead, but is everything else still there?
yeah.
Okay.
I think it is on mic.
Okay.
This is probably rec department as the lead.
Oh,
Yep.
And then. Sorry. Strength and safety measures to sign it.
who knows?
Oh, no.
Actually, the public safety, I think, helps with bicycle rider education. I know they go to the elementary school and give talks, at least they used to.
And actual classes.
Let's make, do we make them a bold then too?
Sure.
Well, it's gonna I'm hoping it matters once a year when you put all these bolded ones on the spot and say, what did you do and what should you be doing next year? 'Cause this really is your plan. The rest is background to support the plan.
28.
I would add town manager and select board to 28 and make the rec department the lead.
Yeah.
Who, should Conservation Commission be in 29 too?
Yeah.
And I think the planning board should be the lead on that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's it.
All right,
Good.
good. So, infrastructure, we did not get to today. So do we want to look at future date?
We just do our regular meeting.
Well, do we want to add an extra one, or how are we doing with pacing on this, Tara? Because we have
Oh, I thought you wanted to add extra meetings till you got done. And I have every Thursday morning available for you until the end of June.
Yeah, I think we should keep trying to push through this so we can like get it. Y'all are welcome to do the 26th. I will not be here, but I want to pass the leadership to Nancy on that one. Or the
Second.
26th.
I vote for the 26th because I have an operation on the 1st.
Okay. Nancy, are you going to be available the 26th?
Probably, I've got a deposition for someone else that day at 1, starting at 1, but I'm pretty sure I could do it.
Bill Larson, 26th.
I'm checking.
Okay. Everyone else here?
No. Me?
No.
We don't care what you are.
So the 26th is missing 1, 2 people. Second,
Mark is important for the 26th for infrastructure.
I have time.
should we compare that to the second? So no Mike on the second.
Well, depends on the results of the operation.
I have physical therapy that day, so you'll have to meet without me.
So that's 2 people on the second. So we may as
So
well
it's
do
the
this-
same. So do it the 26th.
do the 26th and get it done with.
Okay.
Bill, on the 26th or the 2nd?
The 26th.
So you don't have Bill on the 26th, he was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was the second. The 26th, you're not available?
No,
How about
Are you available on the second?
How about if we do it next week?
Okay,
The 19th?
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we should all be ready anyways, because we had to be prepared for today.
Good point.
Wait, Mark can't.
already have that meeting
Yeah.
in the morning.
No,
Oh, bummer.
I have that.
Okay. So we're down, not 19, we're down 3 people on the 26th. Bill Larson on the 2nd, can you attend?
June the 2nd or July?
Good.
June the 2nd.
They have PT at 10:45.
No, I have physical therapy
On
that
Thursday.
day.
From the earlier May the 26th. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Everyone fine on the 26th?
Yeah. Fine.
You are.
26th here, 8 o'clock.
So anyone who's not able to attend could
Zoom in.
send some comments to someone who is able to attend, right?
We'll send it to Alicia,
To Alicia.
please. That way you're not.
Yeah,
And
Infrastructure?
7.
7.
Do we want to just keep it to chapter 7 for that, Tara, or should we try to do? another?
no, let's just try. If we can get
That's your
that-
last chapter, so you want to do that and the part of the action plan that goes with it.
Right. That was like it flew by. We're on the last one already.
Okay,
Okay.
can I move we adjourn?
I'll send you
No, we can't. We're not done yet.
Oh, I have to wait.
So 26 at 8, yes?
26 at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So, moving on to the agenda then. There isn't necessarily a thought for this, but I just wanted to put out a general request to everyone. I know we're asking for these types of groups to try to meet in person. I'd also like to request that we all follow the CDC guidelines for when to or not to wear masks. Just, we all trust each other and it's a small community. I would just like to make that request. Follow the CDC guidelines.
So if you want us to wear masks for these meetings.
No. If you look at the CDC guidelines, like if you're living with someone who has COVID or you've been, or you've been exposed and have only had like 1 day, you know, all the different things we get into, when it's appropriate for us. Everyone's good with that? And then committee reports, town core working group, or whatever we're calling ourselves now. We're working to get a series of signs to direct bicyclists from here in Town Square down to the Snows Mountain Lift. They'll be pretty basic post icon directional signs, just to begin to test the water, so to speak, with getting these groups and seeing how the interaction with the signs will work out. So our goal is to have that place for this summer. The idea is to take folks from the adventure center around the far side of the ice arena, kind of across that very remedial path that's there right now, going through the, I guess call it disc golf. Yeah, but anyway, through there, the town's working with the resort to widen and flatten that, bring people across Village Road from there, using the cross-country trail, and then look down to Snows Road and out to the left. So that's where we're at now. We're also talking about moving forward with trying to plot out of halfway around the pond. Just to see, look at getting that survey, getting a land survey that the town owns to be able to see where the path to fall in that area. Did I forget anything, Nancy?
Sorry, I really couldn't hear anything you said. I'm sorry.
All right. Did I forget anything?
No, I think you're right.
Okay. No worries. Any questions? Okay, conservation?
We actually just had a meeting a little bit ago, very productive. We did talk about the indigenous folks, and we're gonna table that, like we said. I'll get back to you on that past and present term. Would like to add that statement to the master plan. Anyways, moving on, Rick Vanderpool is coming May 19th. For those of you who don't know who he is a mitigator, helping us mitigate the Coker's Pond to eliminate all that silt coming into the pond, tributaries, streams that come into that pond from the 19th. We also talked a little bit about Greenbelt, that little piece of land that maybe bought, the town bought, and we're going to talk about Greenbelt signage, just some small little signs, maybe adopt like the brown ones that when you come into the valley, those little brown signs, something like that with a Greenbelt logo. We're working on the logo color. We're going to keep Waterville Valley green and blue.
Recording in progress.
Are you confused about that?
Well, I'm just gonna ask strategies that had been developed. And
They're gonna go with the icon approach rather than standalone signs. We're gonna initially, the commission wants to initially put just a couple of signs up to start to mark the area.
Okay.
And those will be put actually on trees initially, so that we can see what they look like before we commit to a stand alone sign. So, but the icons will match the size and everything else on our sign.
Just to acknowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also talked a little bit about the new water treatment plan, how that all is working. Mark gave a whole bunch of information that will be on our paper. And the relocation of possible trash area that will happen probably next year. Location. So we'll talk later about that.
Okay. Great. So communications, others from North Country Council.
Yeah, that's general information about the North Country Council. The town is authorized to have 2 representatives to the North Country Council board, primary and an alternate. For the past 15, 17 years, something like that, I've been the representative of the town, and I would love to have a member of the planning board, at least as an alternate, or 2 members of the board, the primary and alternate. This is our regional planning commission. So they assist planning boards in all of the towns in Grafton and Coos County with projects, and they do regional initiatives as well. Currently working on a housing initiative for the North Country. And if anyone is interested after reading through this material with serving as a town rep, please let me know. I would be happy to sit down and go through a typical agenda. Meetings are usually in Littleton, but they move them around the counties. To help people attend. So that's just background information. So a lot of information. For council.
Great. Okay. Did anybody else have anything they needed to address the group with? So for our calendar review, I'm meeting, you'll be meeting, May 26th, 8 o'clock for the chapter 7 master plan review, as well as the action items, chapter 8 correspondence. June 9th is our next regular meeting. Just as an aside, there won't be a minor site plan as part of it, but Sean Ward has agreed to come to our June 9th meeting to discuss, review the winter lights program. So that won't come up as an official application, but he has agreed to attend for that. And there's no such offer around the house. So that will be able to happen. There's nothing else. Mike, anything else?
Ooh, I'm up. Go home with my wife. I move we adjourn the meeting.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Bill Spence, aye.
Rob Wilson, aye.
Wendy Astor, aye.
Aye. Michael Pell, aye.
Nancy,
Nancy Knight, aye.
Bill? Allison, that was an aye for Bill. Nod your head. Or shake your head. All right. Thank you very much.
Is this a trash barrel?